Hey,
Hello.
all right. Happy hump day.
Can you come on screen so I don't have to look at this woman?
I'm coming. Give me a second. You'll be all right. The Grand Dame is here. Would you call me the Grand Dame if I told you that's my new name,
No,
the Grand Dame?
no,
You wouldn't call me the Grand Dame?
no.
Why not?
I don't want you to be associated with that woman. I think too highly of you. I'd never want you to do that.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here. It's been a few weeks. Shut up. Don't say nothing. Just. How you doing today, sir?
I am well. How are you?
I'm great. Just as a programming note for those of you that want to make sure you are on time for class today, remember this is Twitch Wednesdays. So El Teddy will only be over on the Twitcher on Wednesday. So don't go
Come on,
looking for it. Don't be
Twitcher.
like he ain't live. He is. He's live. He's on the Twitcher.
I'm
Okay.
going to say 5:30, y'all, just so we, maybe a little earlier, but 5:30. If you come over to Twitch at 5:30, we'll be there.
Okay. All right. So listen, there's been a lot of politicking going on these last couple of weeks.
Mm.
And I know you've been keeping us up on it over on your main channel, but the Department of Education is back in the news.
Mm. Oh, dear God. Mm.
They are still dismantling. In case y'all thought they forgot, they didn't. In case y'all thought they were done with the Department of Ed, they're not. They are still dismantling, and they even have declassified nurses from a professional degree to, I don't know, they've changed it to something, child. It's not even considered a professional degree anymore. I don't know how nursing isn't a professional degree, but whatever. But let's read the update on what's going on down to the Department of Education. Oh Lord. Okay. This is coming from the Associated Press article dated today's date. Is this today's date? Yeah, today's date. The
Mhm.
U.S. Department of Education is handing off some of its biggest grant programs to other federal agencies as the Trump administration accelerates its plan to shut the department down. The changes announced Tuesday represent a major step forward for the administration's dismantling of the department, which has mainly involved cutting jobs since him called for its elimination with an executive action in March. 6 new agreements signed by the Department of Education will effectively move billions of dollars in grant programs to other agencies. Most notable is the one that will put the Department of Labor over some of the largest federal funding streams for K through 12 schools, including Title I, money for schools serving low-income communities. Opponents have urged against such a shakeup, saying it could disrupt programs that support some of the nation's most vulnerable populations. Well, we know they don't care nothing about that. States rely on Department of Education. States rely on education department officials for expertise that other agencies might not have, says Angelica Green, Rhode Island's K through 12 education chief. People might think it's just funding and giving them money, but it's not. Green said in the interview, it's about how to commingle some of the funds to educate a child. So if a child is in special education, but is also a multilingual learner, and they're in poverty, how do you use that to educate the child holistically? Department officials said the programs will continue to be funded at levels set by Congress. They did not say whether the changes will bring further job cuts at the department, which has been thinned by waves of massive layoffs and voluntary retirement offers. The Trump administration is taking bold action to break up the federal education bureaucracy and return education to the states, Linda McMahon said in a statement. Cutting through layers of red tape in Washington is one essential piece of our final mission. Notice, did you hear the word final mission? Yeah. The action leaves in place the Education Department's 1.6 trillion student loan portfolio and its funding for students with disabilities, though McMahon has suggested both would be better managed by other federal departments. Also unaffected is the department's Office for Civil Rights, which works with students and families who bring allegations of discrimination. Yeah, because they done fired everybody. McMahon and her staff have spent months hammering out the details, which allow the department to lop off large parts of its footprint without action from Congress. It's being done through formal agreements that agencies often make with one another when their work overlaps. The Education Department tested the idea in June with a deal that moved adult education programs to labor. The new agreements take it a step further and lay the groundwork for more. Under the new plan, labor will oversee almost all grant programs that are now managed by the Education Department's offices for K through 12 and higher education, along with an $18 billion Title I program that includes smaller funding pools for teacher training, English instruction, and TRIO, a program that helps see lower income students to college degrees. It will effectively outsource the department's Office of Elementary and Secondary Education and Office of Post-Secondary Education, two of the agency's largest units. Two major roles of the post-secondary office will remain with the Education Department: oversight of student loan policy and accreditation of colleges for eligibility to return students federal financial aid. Another deal will put Health and Human Services in charge of a grant program for parents who are attending college, along with management of foreign medical school accreditation. The State Department will take on foreign language programs. Interior will oversee programs for Native American education. A union representing department workers and students, educators, and families depend on the agency's support for schools. The national mission is weakened when its core functions are scattered across other federal or state agencies that are not equipped for or positioned to provide the same support and services as education staff, AFGE Local 252 President Rachel Gittleman said. McMahon has increasingly pointed to what she sees as failures of the department as she argues for its demise. In its 45 years, she says it has become a bloated bureaucracy while student outcomes continue to lag behind. She points to math and reading scores for the country's K-12 students, which plummeted in the wake of the pandemic. You think math and reading scores go down when kids don't go to school? I wonder. I'm sorry. Her vision would abolish the Education Department and give states a wider flexibility in how they spend money that's now earmarked for specific purposes, including literacy and education for homeless students. That, however, would require approval from Congress. The task is complicated by the fact that some of the department's core work has long been a bipartisan effort. The new deals are part of a broader plan to prove that America's schools and colleges can operate without the department. As part of the plan, officials say McMahon will continue touring the country to highlight the success of local schools, and she will also spend more time making her pitch to lawmakers on Capitol Hill. What say you, sir?
What I say is, I told you all when we were doing this show last November, last December, January, all the way up till now, that there would be irreparable damage to what we know is education. And when I say irreparable, it cannot be fixed, not in our lifetime. Not in our lifetime. And that's something that we have to grapple with. As much as I'm giving me a few moments because I will castigate this administration. I have to also look at the inaction by the previous administration. There was inaction by the previous administration. Even really being during the lame duck period where some things within the Department of Education could have been codified and safeguarded, because they were very open about dismantling DOE. They were very open about that. I really don't think that politicians on Capitol Hill give a damn on either side of the aisle. On either side of the aisle. Remember, there were Democrats that voted to confirm this woman. We remember that, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is no screaming from the rooftops. There's no alarm system saying that the house is burning. This is happening, and we can't even say it's happening under the cloak of darkness. They're very open and honest about it. Hey, this is what we're doing. This is happening, and you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone on both sides of the aisle, all factions within the Washington D.C. space, they are radio silent. Radio silent. I think that the educators across the country, because of the diminution of their profession, even under the past administration, even as we saw wholesale revoking of teachers' ability to provide instruction, wholesale eradication of history, wholesale eradication of pedagogy, wholesale, eradication of human rights. You telling me that I cannot respect the rights of a human being because they're a child, or I cannot respect the rights of parents whose ideology may differ from mine. All of that has happened prior to November 5th. Where was Congress when we started down this slippery slope? It started in Texas. We reported on it over here. We talked about this shit. We said how they were over here in Texas, started it when they first revoked the rights of LGBTQ plus students, when they took away all of the resources and say, no, you don't need to have any mental resources. You don't need to have any resources telling you what it is that's going on with your body, your mind, and how that goes. They took all of that away. When they told them you could no longer have safe spaces for the LGBTQ plus community, forget all of that. Nobody cares. When we reported over here, when they threw that boy out of school for a whole year for his hair, and his hair was in goddamn compliance because they have a Crown Rule Act. Where were the people? We were screaming over here. Hey, Dems. Hey, people on the damn left. Where are you? When they were removing books like The Bluest Eye and Black literature and LGBTQ plus literature and women's literature and Latinx Hispanic literature, when they were removing it from school, where were the people? You know where they were really be? The same place they are now, not being bothered. Not being bothered. And it's not going to be until we are at DEFCON 5, which we've been at for a while, but it's not going to be until their students get involved. Please understand, really, you know what's coming next? You can expect probably, maybe before the year is out, they're going to be announcing, yeah, we've sold student loan debt to a private company and private entity, and it'll be totally backed by Congress. We are here, and we didn't just get here all of a sudden. We have been on this road for a long time. They let governor's death sentence basically say, excuse my French, fuck Black history, fuck African American history. I don't want it, and no other student across the country should learn about African American history. And he shook down AP and the College Board, and guess what they did? They complied with him. And this is before this administration even won an election. All of this happened. So if I'm being honest, really the pessimist is coming out of me, and the pessimist in me said, well, hell, y'all already had no use for the Department of Education. There were no teeth in the Department of Education. You people didn't give a damn about education up to this point. So why the hell should we, why should we care? We're here, really. We are here. I'm sorry. I'm spiking out. Let me be.
I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to say after that. I mean, again, elections have consequences. I don't know what y'all wanted us to tell y'all. He told you he wanted to eliminate the Department of Education. We told you he was going to eliminate the Department of Education. The woman who took the job as head of the Department of Education said, we're going to eliminate the Department of Education. And just because they've had to be creative in how they were going to do it, doesn't change the fact that that's what they want to do. We know they don't give a damn about our black and brown kids. We know they don't care. So I'm not sure what y'all want from us. You know, they're just being very creative in how they're doing it. So they're sending everything to other agencies. I mean, I don't know what the Department of Labor is going to do with the Title I money. But again, I told y'all before, that's how I get paid. My salary comes out of the Title I budget. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm going to have to do the best I can with what I got.
I mean, it baffles the mind. But again, really being, there mum's the word in DC about this. There's nothing to see here. Nothing. Nothing to see here. So I have to think about the fact that we're again going to see public school systems around the country either be gutted more, or your state and local taxes will go up to try to fund public schools more. One or two things are going to happen.
People not imagine what getting rid of DOE looks like. Sometimes that creates passivity. I mean, you had people voting, knew they was illegal, that knew they were here in the country illegally, and they were voting to have themselves deported. So I don't know. I don't have much more to add. I mean, I don't know. There's nothing more to say about this, you know, as far as that's concerned. I mean, I don't have much more to add, but it is
to God be the glory. To God be the glory. Did you put the articles in the chat for the people?
Did not. I can. Wait till these gerrymander legs get their hands on the money. You want to talk about Phoenix?
Let's do Tennessee first, and then we get in with. I think Phoenix will take the longest.
Okay.
So we can do Tennessee, and then
Tennessee.
Am I echoing?
I don't hear an echo.
Oh, I feel like I hear an echo on my end.
I'll put the link in the chat. Give me a second, y'all. Let me get this article, and I'll just put both of them in the chat. Tennessee Speaker of the House proposes fewer education requirements for some teachers. And again, y'all, well, I'm going to read the article first. This is coming from WVLT. Let me put my other glasses on, child. That's how you know you're getting old. You got multiple pairs of glasses. Child, let me put my other glasses on so I can see these things. Oh, I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. All right, WVLT8, although now I see is a lot bigger somewhere else. We're moving right along. Published November. So this is from November the 5th. Knoxville, Tennessee. Tennessee House Speaker Cameron Sexton is proposing changes to teacher education requirements that would allow educators with associate's degrees or in a junior college program to teach K-5 students. Speaker Sexton in Tennessee has about 2,000 teacher jobs open in the state. Currently, all teachers in Tennessee must have a bachelor's degree. Sexton said he sees no problem with allowing teachers with a 2-year degree to work in elementary classrooms. We've had people successful in America from... I'm sorry. We've had people... Because I haven't even finished reading this quote, and I know it's going to be comical. We've had people successful in America from high school all the way up to getting a PhD. Whether or not what degree you have doesn't define your success, Sexton said.
You don't even need to go no further. Why are we going even further here? Go ahead, read the article. I'm sorry. What is happening here? Where are we at?
This man said we've had people successful in all. So who's to say they can't be successful teaching your child? Mind you, K-5 is when they get the fundamentals. That's when they get the basics that everything else is built on.
You need the most educated people. What are we doing? God be with us, Lord.
And here's what's crazy. The crazy thing is, and again, for those of us who remember Nickleby and El Tady, you and I both came. Y'all want me to finish the article?
Please finish the article.
Okay, let me finish the article first. But just remind me to come back to Nickleby. Just remind me to come back to Nickleby. The speaker said his view that he views the community college route as an enhancement rather than a reduction in standards. I see this community college route for educators as being an enhancement in education, not a in education, not a loss in standards that some may apply. Wow. The professional educators of Tennessee opposed this proposal. You don't say, saying it would not help schools in the state. I don't think we want to take a step back as a state and put someone with just an AA degree teaching kids. We want the best and brightest in our K-5 system to teach our students, the organization said, our schools, or just the organization said. Executive Director CJ Bowman said teacher education requirements are not the primary reason people avoid teaching careers in Tennessee. The number one thing they talk about is the workload and student discipline. Until we address those issues, the speaker's issue is about 10th down on the list. Bowman added the state needs to look at the exams to become a teacher in Tennessee. He said it's set for a national standard when states should have its own test. They do! Shut up. Governor Bill Lee signed the Teacher Paycheck Protection Act, raising the minimum teacher salary to $50,000 starting next year. When asked if teachers with associate's or junior college degrees would receive this salary, Sexton said the details remain under discussion. That's another question we'll address. Like I said, this is a blank canvas. And so when you have the opportunity to make changes and do something different, you can set it up however and keep it open for discussion, Sexton said. The speaker said he had conversations with some junior colleges and other schools about how to create a 2-year program. So what I was going to say about Nickleby was, under Nickleby, teachers had to have a master's degree. You remember that, El Teddy?
Yep.
And once again, and I've seen this before, we do not have a teacher shortage in this country. We have a shortage of teachers who are willing to put up with this bullshit that y'all want us to put up with in order to teach. There are plenty of people out here that are qualified to be teachers. Plenty of them. But go ahead, child.
Well, like you were saying, I'm sorry, somebody just tried to send me an email at work because they want to bother me with work, and I should not have to be bothered. Anyway, you have to understand the place where you need the most educated, the most learned people is in probably pre-K through 3rd grade more than it. That's where you need people who truly and really understand pedagogy. You want your people who've had bachelor's, master's, and even higher than that if you can get them in those grades, because those grades K-5 are so instrumental in the educational pathway of that person. And when you have lapses in education in those critical grade levels, it rears its ugly head exponentially when they get to the higher grade levels, because a child that can't read on grade level in kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade isn't magically going to start reading on grade level in 8th and 9th grade. Matter of fact, you're forcing those teachers in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade to do more. Now they got to go back and do the work of the K-5 teachers, because you have people there who did not know true instruction, true pedagogy. Think about math. Think about how many students are lost in math in K through 5. And for the rest of their life want nothing to do with the math, all because they may have had one bad year of math instruction, and for the rest of their life they're like, oh, I can't do math, I don't like math. And it didn't have to be that way. Same way with the sciences, same way with every single academic program. And I mean, this is Tennessee. Tennessee has proven over and over and over, they, in terms of damage to education, they are probably worse than the Texas and the Floridas with regard to their detrimental influence on education. Texas and Florida, let's be clear, they are racist, bigoted, and discriminatory, as good as anybody you can imagine. But in terms of sheer detriment to education, Tennessee is right up there. Right. Remember, they were the first ones saying, we'll give the money back. We don't need your money. Remember that? They were the ones that were saying,
that was Tennessee.
Tennessee was the ones that were designing or putting state money into those charter schools and private schools that were indoctrinating students. And we reported on that here. Tennessee has been a problem in education for some time. I mean, I don't have anything else to
Tennessee
say.
was right. Again, you're right. Tennessee was the first state, well, one of the first states, if not the first state, to say, kiss eye, you know what? And you're absolutely correct. At the end of the day, like I said, if we keep lowering the standards instead of dealing with the problem, and the article clearly states that the problem isn't about finding enough qualified people. The problem is people willing to do it for what they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Again, a lot of teachers, look, one day soon and very soon, my name is going to be on that list, are just no longer willing to deal with what you are wanting us to deal with. We're just not. And that for a starting salary of $50,000. I mean, and that's no disrespect to anybody that makes $50,000 a year. I'm not saying that. I mean, straight out of college, maybe that's great money. I don't know. But I do know that you can find another job with a starting salary of $50,000 where you don't have to put up with as much bullshit. That I know. But anyway. Do you want to get into the Phoenix of it all, or do you want to make a statement on, because I know you said that's going to take a while. Do you want to do Phoenix first, and then if we have time, you want to make a statement on what's going on in Chicago, or do you not want to make a statement at all, or do you want to say something about that now? You may not have anything to say at all, but I'd already spoken about it. That's why I said
that. I mean, we could discuss Chicago now. We can. It shouldn't take too long.
I mean, go ahead. I did a whole video.
Oh, you did a whole video. Yeah. I'll say this. This isn't new. This is not an anomaly. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. We've seen this. And I think parents need to understand and grapple with the fact that your children, when they leave you, are not what you think they are. They demonstrate the worst traits imaginable. They feed into all of the horrible peer pressures that you can think of. The thing about it is, that parents are at the point where they're expecting the schools to teach their children how they should behave, or teach their children what's right and what's wrong in terms of their behavior, when that's not the job of the school. And I think that there's a lot deeper of a conversation that has to be had with, um, you know what? Here's an example. Here's my example. A parent in 2025, and it's not all parents, but we see it a lot. And really, you'll know what I'm saying. A parent treats their child like they do their car. And what I mean by that is, if they feel like, oh, I feel like it's a problem, well, let me just drop it off at the dealership. They'll tell me everything that's wrong. They'll fix everything that's wrong, give it back to me, and it'll be fine. And now I can ride around saying that I have a wonderful car, instead of you trying to do right by that car, not driving over every pothole, not driving it till it's way past when you were supposed to get the oil change, not cleaning the inside. You know what I'm saying? You just say, oh, I saw an engine light. Well, let me just take it. The mechanical fix everything. I ain't got this type of time. And they do that with their children. They say, baby, I don't have time to be teaching them social skills. I don't have time to teach them correct behavior when you are amongst a group of people. I don't have time to teach them respect for people. The school will handle all of that. We ain't got time to do with this. Meanwhile, we've been chronicling year after year, really, be how they don't want us to teach anything, any of that sort in school, right? These are the same parents who've been telling us, don't leave that for us at the house. We'll teach them everything they need, and they don't teach them anything. And they wonder why we have these instances. Because I can tell you, every metropolitan area in the country can show you many cases of this over and over and over. I can think off the top of my head over a dozen instances exactly like what you just saw. And I'm not diminishing it. I'm not trying to explain it away. But what I am saying is this is a problem. This is a real problem that we have. And there's nobody, as we talked earlier, there is this, nobody's giving a damn about education anymore. And in the same vein, who's educating these children at home about the way they're supposed to behave, about social you know, being in social environments, and there's a much deeper issue than people are willing to discuss and go down. But I think it's horrible what happened to that woman and her child. I think it's off. I think it's atrocious, and I think no one should have to endure that. I think that what you'll start to see is parents trying to protect their children that were involved in this, and they'll put them under the cloak of, oh, these are children, they're just going to do bad things, which means to me, I should be blaming you as the parent.
Yeah, I talked about it yesterday, and I'm gonna have a further conversation later on today because some other things have come out. The mother has spoken. We have a little more information. The mother said that this is an issue she's been dealing with at the school. She said every time she went up to the school to meet with the principal and all other administrators were busy. And El Teddy, we know that game. We know that game. Now, is administration legitimately busy? Yes. But we know the game. And then we had one parent actually make her child come down here and apologize, and that apology was some bullshit. So I have some more I want to add to now that we have, more information, as more information continues to come in, and we find out more and more that's going on. Chicago Police Department are involved. So yeah, my biggest issue, everything you just said, of course, I ditto. But something I said yesterday, and I'm going to say today, and I'm going to continue to say, this is the society that we're creating because we don't want to hold children accountable for bad behavior. We keep telling them, if I don't know if you saw the video, El Teddy, of the parent making her daughter apologize, and the first thing she said was, well, she's a child. No, she's a child in age, but she was doing adult shit. Your child with a closed fist was punching a grown woman for no other reason, simply than they were bullying her son, and she was stopping them from bullying her son for whatever the reason was. So again, For me, that is what we deal with. People think that people exaggerating. These are the things that are going on in the school that they're finding excuses for the kids' behavior. Oh, they're kids. Oh, they're kids. Oh, they're kids. But the kids are doing grown stuff. So,
Yeah, that's what's happening.
what do you mean that wasn't a parent? That was a teacher. That lady in the video was a teacher. That wasn't that child's mother. Nitwit, hit me up in Instagram. Send me that information, because baby, that makes it even worse. Because if I was a teacher, why are you in this? Baby, let me get to this next article. Because why are you in this? El Teddy, would you be in this?
Baby, it's off school grounds. It's after school hours. Baby, I don't have nothing to do with this. And I don't care who child it is, which child it is. Ain't got nothing to do with
You said that
me.
was the mom sitting next to her. Right. Her mother was there, right? Her mother was there. Child. Anyway, but don't even get me started. Listen, we could go on a whole nother thing. Let's get into this Phoenix report, because this is very important. Listen, we need like a red alert
We do
graphic, because this right here, the Phoenix declaration is a red alert. I don't know. We got to find ourselves a red alert, because this is a red alert, honey. This is a red alert.
Really be is pulling that up, y'all. Just to preface, as she's getting ready to go through this. Remember when people tried to warn you all about Project 2025? Prior to there were people. I first mentioned Project 2025 back in 2023. As I was getting details about it. This Phoenix Declaration is the same thing. But with regard to education and your child's future in public schools, and it even addresses they even have parts that address colleges and universities. And so I ask that you all pencil or put a pin, I should say, in today's live where we first talked about this Phoenix Declaration and the fact that we've already had one state already, the very first state had signed up and agreed to be a part of this Phoenix Declaration. Of course, it's going to be one of the members of the Holy Trinity of racism, discrimination, and bigotry, that being my home state of Florida. God love them.
One of the parents came down here and cussed us out. They ain't cussed me out. Huh. She can cuss till she blue in the face. I hope she's saving. Yeah. I hope she's saving up
for Chicago PD. That's who she needs.
I hope she's saving a legal defense.
All of that ready for them, baby. Baby, listen. I saw somebody today already put up the parents and stuff, social media and stuff. I said, well, then there's that. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I ain't got nothing to do with it.
So we're getting ready to read the Phoenix Declaration, which comes from the same people that.
Wait, is that a new chair?
Is what a new chair
that you're sitting in?
Oh yeah. Oh, you must not have been over here in a couple of weeks, because I've had this chair for about 3 weeks, sir.
I have been here in a couple of weeks. You've seen me in the chat in a couple of weeks. Maybe I just didn't notice it.
I have a chair.
A chair?
I can twirl. I can twirl. Anyway. So, I'm going to say project. The Phoenix Declaration has come to you from the same authors of Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation. And I need y'all to listen very carefully. I mean, we might need to screenshot this and put it on a community wall or something. It's very, very important. I put the link in the chat already. It's going to, listen, I need y'all to bear with me. I'm going to be reading. It's a little lengthy, but you guys need to listen very carefully. Because just like people wanted to act like Project 2025 was not a blueprint. Yeah. Okay. The Phoenix Declaration, an American vision for education. In this time of moral and political crisis, when too many schools have lost their way, it is the responsibility of America's parents, educators, and policymakers to recommit ourselves to the central purpose of education. Education is the cornerstone of individual opportunity, family flourishing, and national prosperity. Every child should have access to a high quality, content rich education that fosters the pursuit of the good, the true, and the beautiful, so that they may achieve their full God given potential. America's schools must work alongside parents to prepare children for the responsibilities of adulthood, including their familial and civic responsibilities, by cultivating excellence in mind and heart. America's system of self-government is predicated, Lord, upon an informed and virtuous citizenry. To protect their rights and freedoms and to fulfill their civic duties, citizens must first know what they are and what America stands for. In the words of Thomas Jefferson, quote, "If a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects that never was and never will be," end quote. Information without moral formation is insufficient. Parents, schools, and religious and civic institutions must cultivate in children the personal and civic virtues necessary for self-government. Public virtue cannot exist in a nation without private virtue, observed John Adams, and public virtue is the only foundation of republics. Schools should equip students with the knowledge, character, and skills necessary to succeed in life as individuals and to fulfill their obligations as members of their families, local communities, and country. In order to empower families, advance educational excellence, transmit our culture, and uphold the foundational principles of our constitutional republic, we believe the following principles should guide American family schools and policymakers. Parental choice and responsibility. Parents are the primary educators of their children. Parents should have the freedom to choose the learning environment that align with their values and best meet their children's individual learning needs, with public education funding following the child. Policies should respect the right and high duty of parents to raise their children and make decisions about their children's education. Transparency and accountability. Schools, as secondary educators, should work with parents, not attempt to serve as replacements for them. Schools have a responsibility to be transparent with parents about what their children are being taught and how their children are performing. Schools must never have misguided policies that hide information from parents about their children's mental, emotional, and physical well-being. The highest form of accountability is when schools are answerable directly to well-informed parents. Truth and goodness. Education must be grounded in truth. Students should learn that there is objective truth and that it is knowable. Science courses must be grounded in reality, not ideological fads. Students should learn that good and evil exist and that human beings have the capacity and duty to choose a good. Cultural transmission. A central purpose of education is to transmit humanity's accumulated knowledge and wisdom, as well as our nation's particular culture and heritage, to the next generation. A civilization survives only if it intentionally transmits its histories, traditions, and values, including its yet unrealized aspirations, to the next generation. True progress comes only by building on what has been learned and achieved in the past. Students should therefore learn about America's founding principles and roots in the broader Western and Judeo-Christian traditions. Students should study the best that has been brought and said, engaging in the great conversation among the competing viewpoints that comprise our intellectual heritage, so that they freely make the best views their own. Character formation. Education must prepare children for the challenges and responsibilities of adulthood. That endeavor entails much more than merely preparing students for a career. A proper education is focused on the full formation of a child, particularly the child's character. Education should cultivate the virtues and discipline necessary for self-governance. Students must be held accountable to their behavior, both to learn that their choices have consequences, and to maintain the order necessary for learning to proceed. Academic excellence. Schools should foster academic excellence. Schools should prioritize a rigorous and content-rich curriculum rooted in foundational subjects such as math, literature, science, history, civics, and the arts. Emphasis should be placed on core knowledge and tried and true pedagogy rather than fads of experimental teaching methods. Students should be challenged and rewarded for hard work and accomplishment. Schools should help students achieve their full potential, going as far as fast as their talents will take them. Citizenship. A republic depends upon an educated and patriotic citizenry. Schools should teach students the civic virtues and civic knowledge necessary for self government and the task of building a more perfect union, including the value of civic disagreement. Schools should also foster a healthy sense of patriotism and cultivate gratitude for and attachment to our country and all who serve its central institutions. Our shared civic rituals, such as the Pledge of Allegiance and National Anthem, should be respected and revived. Students should develop a deep understanding of and respect for our nation's founding documents and the ideas that contain about ordered liberty, justice, and the rule of law, limited government, natural rights, and the equal dignity of all human beings. Students should learn the whole truth about America, its merits and failings, without obscuring that America is a great source of good in the world and that we have a tradition that is worth passing on. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Phoenix Declaration, written by the Heritage Foundation, and that is their vision for America. For the American education system.
Can I just oblige me a little bit? I just want to list a couple things underneath where we look at the drafting committee. Of course, the committee itself is rife and engorged with Heritage Foundation members and the likes, conservatives from all over the place, right?
Mm.
Let's go down to the institutional signatories, meaning organizations that signed on to this. The first one that meets me with resistance is the 1776 Project Foundation. Do we recall what that is?
We've talked about it, ladies and gentlemen.
Remember when we had the 1619 by Dr. Hannah Jones?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they, despised the fact that we wanted to teach that let's talk about American history that started in when we got here and you all had slavery and that is the original sin, and they wanted no parts of that, and they said no. Now we have the 1776 Project Foundation signed on by your current president, Donald John. Remember all of that? Remember there was this whole diminution of the fact that we actually had slavery in this country and that, this was making white people feel bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's that organization, right?
That was them.
Let me skip past that because I'm not going to go down the roads of telling you how bad the Coalition for Jewish Values is, because that's another organization. If I give you the history of those people, you would be very afraid. Also, an organization called Parents Defending Education. Yeah, if you thought Moms for Liberty was bad, go look up Parents Defending Education. Public officials that have signed on to this declaration: Governor Kevin Stitt of the great state of Oklahoma. No problems there, right? Ryan Walters, former superintendent of public education from Oklahoma. Remember him? Trump Bibles guy? Remember him? The Oklahoma head of education. That guy. No problem there, right? Oh, let's look at some individual signatories, people who have individually signed on. Let me look at a few people. How about Tiffany Justice, one of the leaders of Moms for Liberty, who's also a part of.
We've talked about them.
Who's also a part of the Heritage Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Marissa Strait, one of the C-suites down to PragerU. And we've talked about PragerU and their programs that they're putting in elementary school to teach black people that slavery was a choice. That no, it wasn't slavery. They came over here to work. That program, right?
They just came over here to work. They just had to put the chains on so they wouldn't fall off the boat.
Mm. Like I said, you got Nikki Neely, Parents Defending Education. I told y'all, if you want to see some real stuff, go look up Parents Defending Education and see who and what they're all about. But it's a grocery list of bigots, racists, some of the most discriminatory organizations and people in humanity. It is just all up and down. Okay. Now, all of this is coded language for we want our Christian we want our schools all Christians. And let's be clear. We don't have a problem with people who are Christian, but what we are saying is that's not the place for school. And if you want it to be the place for school, there are some private schools for that. You can sign your child up to go to a private school, and you can pay your money and not be having taxpayer money to fund a religious school. And that's the thing here. When you force every taxpayer into one specific religion or one specific ideology, then you have a problem because we're all paying taxes. Notice I did not, none of the people I named on there are aligned with us. Nobody I named on there is aligned with us. There is no credence given to inclusivity of groups outside of Western European Judeo-Christian morals. And even the women that are a part of this are some of the most anti feminist women you'd ever imagine. They are up for being trad wives, as they call them nowadays. They're here for Handmaid's Tale and stuff. They will obviate their own rights so that they can keep their white privilege and their own rights as women, so that they can keep their white privilege and white supremacy. That's what this is all about. And please understand, they're going to start to teach your children to be subjective to white people. That's what this is. This is indoctrination. That's exactly what this is. There were some trigger words there. If you read, they're going to eliminate science as you know it, because they are hell bent on being like the greater part of Texas, where they teach creationism and they don't believe in any parts of evolution and believe in no parts of science. And left to themselves, they have us go back to thinking that the sun revolves around the earth and the earth is still flat. Left to themselves, and that the world is 6,000 years old. Here we are. But there is going to be more that's going to come out about this plan. There's going to be more states that are going to, because you notice the governor of Oklahoma already is one of the signatories, as well as the past head of the education department in Oklahoma. And the only reason he's not hit right now is because he got that porn when he was watching porn in the TV in the meetings and stuff like that. He knew some stuff was about to come out about him. And so he resigned, talk about, oh, I'm taking a job in the private sector. Bro, we know what's going on here. We know exactly what's going on here. But I can see Oklahoma being next. I can see Texas being next. Tennessee, absolutely. I can see them being next. This is happening, and in the same way that they revolutionized they changed our American government, they're going to do it with our education systems. Now, really, be my connections have told me, just like Project 2025 had like a 500-page manifesto, they're in development of, and they're putting final touches on a multi 100-word manifesto that really goes into the weeds with what this declaration means.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, as I was reading it, those of you who have been rocking with the teacher project for a while, y'all heard the dog whistles, y'all heard the coded language, y'all heard the keywords as I was reading through that document. So I am sure they're going to continue to, like you said, drill it down, drill it down, drill it down, because it's very clear. If y'all been following us, it's very obvious the things we've been telling you guys over the last couple of years. Is right there. It's right there. So, and surprising or not surprising, like El Teddy told us, Florida is the first state to adopt the Phoenix Declaration. So let's look at that. This is a quick. Well, it's really not.
No, that's not a quick one.
It's not a quick one.
I don't know if we necessarily need to go through that, or if you do,
we don't.
Okay, I was going to say there's a portion.
Only because I mean, we just read the whole thing, and I mean, Florida's adopting it. I mean, we got it.
Yeah, like if you want to read underneath where you see where it has the 7 principles, or underneath the seal, the Florida seal.
Hold on, let me scroll down.
This is much shorter once you get there.
Parental choice. You want me to just read those?
Or you could start where it says
Florida's adoption of the Phoenix Declaration sets forth principles meant to guide schools and policymakers. These include parental choice and responsibility, institutional transparency, truth and virtue, cultural transmission, character formation, academic quality, and civic responsibility. The document opens with the assertion that the nation's schools have lost their way, and and closes with a list of guiding tenets that call for parental choice with education funding following students to the school's parent choice. Transparency, requiring schools to disclose instructional content and student information. Commitment to objective truth, particularly in science instruction. Cultural transmission, emphasizing America's roots in the border Western and Judeo-Christian traditions. Character formation, discipline and accountability. Academic excellence, grounded in traditional subjects and classical methods. Patriotism and civic gratitude, including renewed respect for the Pledge of Allegiance and national anthem. And then it goes on to say how the Heritage Foundation authored this declaration. And I'll just read the last paragraph. Florida is likely not the last state to consider adopting the declaration. Signatories include several influential officials in Oklahoma, South Carolina, Wyoming, and New Hampshire, jurisdictions where similar adoption efforts may soon appear. Signatories are listed for identification purposes only. The document notes, yet their public endorsement suggests a coordinated national strategy. Parents in Florida also voiced unease. I'm not going to try to say that name. Mr. Peck of Gainesville summarized the concerns of many. Quote, the fact that the Heritage Foundation wrote it, that it is out of Project 2025, this is indoctrination dressed up in pretty words, end quote. That about sums it up. I'm agreeing with that 120%.
I think that the most telling thing that they said is when they said that the document said that the schools in this country have, quote, lost their way, end of quote. And I believe that that means that they don't want any parts of schools that are inclusive, any parts of schools where you have black, brown, and white students sitting next to each other, and God forbid, understanding each other, hearing each other, learning from each other, embracing each other. God, they don't want any parts of schools being inclusive of the fact that there are LGBTQ plus children, that there is a such thing as trans students. God forbid we teach high school students to prepare to go into the world and deal with people of all races, creeds, factions, ideations, and ethnicities, and what have you. God forbid we teach students to deal with the whole of humanity, right? God forbid we treat all students the very same and not have a caste system or hierarchy on whose voices should be heard more than others. That's where they see a problem. And that's how they believe schools have lost their way because they've learned and evolved and been progressive. And that's what we have coming down the pipeline. That's exactly what we have coming down the pipeline.
Yep.
So,
well, you guys, that's our hour. We try to keep y'all to our hour. El Teddy will be heading over to Twitch. If you are not what is it, subscribed on Twitch? Is that the right language for the Twitcher?
The fact that you keep calling it the Twitcher, I'm gonna put the link in the
yeah. How can people find you down to the Twitcher?
I'm gonna put the link in
27.
It's El Teddy 27 official. Okay.
I
don't know if I have the ability to put the link in the chat, but I'll put it in the
you should. You're a mod.
Why is that playing? Let's see if it'll let me put it.
Go down to the Twitcher and put in El Teddy 27 official, and you should find him.
There's the link. Hopefully that went through.
There's the link, you guys. So y'all find him. He's getting ready to head over there in a few minutes, and he has a lot to break down. Are you going to talk about how Comey and his attorneys are just making the Department of Justice look so stupid in court?
Oh yeah, no, we broke that down yesterday. Oh
no, we gotta talk about what happened today.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I know yesterday, but baby, it's the gift that keeps giving. Listen, we have to be happy about the small things that happen. Also, we didn't talk about it on here, but also I'm not sure if it's the Texas State Supreme Court or the Supreme Court told them schools in Texas they gotta take the 10 Commandments out the classroom.
That was it wasn't the Supreme Court, it was a federal court.
Federal court, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they told them to get that. Now again, we know
it wasn't all of the schools, it was certain
certain schools, yeah.
Certain ISDs.
But it was in Texas.
Mm-hmm. There were certain Texas ISDs. Now we had something like that earlier where there were parents that sued and they told just those ISDs. That was a few months back. Now we have another set of parents that followed suit, and they're now those ISDs are being told as well that they got to take them down.
All right, you guys. And sorry I was snacking, but I haven't had lunch today.
Yeah, you over there snacking.
I haven't had lunch today. Sorry.
Me neither. The Inform says, what are our watch hours looking like?
So they're not looking good. Let me tell you why. Because YouTube looks at a 12-month window. So we were down to needing like 1,116 hours or 14 hours. Now we're back up to 1,144 because I guess once we went into the new month of November and they reset our hours. But we're going to get it, y'all. We're going to get it. We're going to get these watch. We're going to get them by the end of the year. I'm claiming it. So, yeah, we're going to get these watch hours by the end of the year. I'm claiming it.
Okay. Claim it. I gotta go
y'all. We love
this.
y'all. And when El Teddy's done, I'm not sure what time I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna talk to him about it real quick before we get off of here. But y'all know, head on over to me, and we're gonna talk about, baby. We got some stuff that's been down the pipe. We're gonna talk about, get the heavy stuff from El Teddy and the silly stuff from El Teddy, and then we're gonna be even sillier. All right, bye, y'all. El Teddy, final word. That's not a word, but okay, sir. This would be a great place for
this would be a
outro.
great place.